Hi guys, Happy New Year! So, this has kind of become my tradition every year now. With my channel, I always, the last couple of years I've been doing a year in review and then putting my goals for next year. So, this is kind of like, I guess, me saying what I accomplished from my goals last year, what didn't quite work out, and then looking forward to 2021. So, as far as things I accomplished, I worked a lot this year, and that I can say part of it's COVID related because there wasn't really anything else to do. At least to me, it was just easier to pick up the extra hours and just try to get the money. And with working all that, I earned my promotion too as a third shift supervisor. My last paycheck that pretty much, was that today? Yeah, today was the last paycheck. So it was the last paycheck for the year, I believe. So I made the most money that I've ever made in a year. Last year was my most, and now this year's my most. And a lot of it has to do with all the extra overtime I was picking up. I severely doubt that next year I will be on that same pathway because I did a lot this year, like ridiculous amounts, so I don't expect that to be next year, but I will still pick up shifts where I can. We are currently fully staffed at work though, so bye-bye overtime. I think I have like one overtime shift for this month so far, so that's a little, who knows, you don't know when people call in sick though, so that's always a possibility. I can say financially, I'm looking to keep working on my debt consolidation stuff. I did increase my monthly payment, so last year I was paying was it $486, something like that. Now I'm paying $526, which doesn't seem like a huge jump. I did use the stimulus in the beginning of the year. I put $1,000 out of that into my debt consolidation. You know, the $600 one that's pending now, I'm just gonna hold on to that for now. Just because my van, like, is high mileage and I just gotta be careful, so. I will be, depending on what I get back on my tax refund. I paid a lot in taxes this year. And I'm hoping to get some money back. I think I might get like $1,000 back, hopefully. So I will be putting that towards my debt consolidation. Like, I just plan on putting whatever I get back from my federal taxes. I don't think I'll get back much from state. I think I'm like right on track. If I get anything back, it's not gonna be much of anything. I'll be lucky if I don't owe state, honestly. So I want to focus on trying to throw whatever extra money I can towards my debt consolidation to speed up the process. The other things I talked about last year was getting my medication adjusted, which I did. I did up my Zoloft back in like February to 100 milligrams, so along with my ketamine that I take twice a week at 50 milligrams. I have had some drawbacks as far as my mental health stuff goes because of my situation with the bad DMT trip that I've been dealing with since then, which also happened in February. it's caused me a lot of problems, and I've spent a lot of my time with my therapist now addressing that versus other things, which is kind of frustrating. Though I kind of needed to, because it's fucked with some of my functionality, or a lot of it. So, I would like to try to work on some other things with my therapist, like a lot of my issues with, I have a lot just issues with just food, binge eating, and with my depression and stuff. And of course this year, like, you know, didn't lose weight, I gained I feel like I gained like 30 pounds this year, which sucks. You know, I was dealing with a lot of stuff mentally, and didn't really help all the issues I have around food. So, and I definitely have like some disordered eating, and it can be kind of hard to talk about. I appreciate the fact that my boyfriend even kind of has been keyed in on this and has brought it up. He's brought up his concern. Just like, I don't know. I just have a habit of like doing things without even thinking about it. Like, he was talking about how, you know, he notices I hide sometimes when I eat, and, or like me hiding food and just stuff like that. So, like, that's just one of those things that, you know, I've done for so long that, like, I know things are issues, and I try to work on them, and sometimes I'll do better than other times, and like, it's been an ongoing issue. And I've talked to it a little bit with my therapist, but I'd like to get into it a little more to try and, you know, really work on that, because I know it's hard for me to maintain any weight loss. Like I said, I'll do good for a while, and then, of course, this last year is just wasn't really the best for that. I know I'm not the only one who gained weight for 2020, so I'm not alone in that boat. I'm hoping with 2021 though I can try to get back on track. I don't want to set any like specific goals about it. I just would like to get myself in a place where I could get better control over my eating stuff. And like, me and my boyfriend have talked about wanting to try keto, or transition over to it for a little while, but I don't expect to do that right away, just because I know we both have some issues with like overeating sweets or snacky foods. So it's like, it would be a hard transition. I almost feel like he might have a harder time, but he doesn't think he will. But I don't know, like, he can get away with the way he overeats to some extent. Like, I don't think he realizes, but he could smash bags of candy all in one sitting. If I did that, I'd be a lot bigger than I am. But, I mean, I don't know. I know with me, at times I can eat to the point where I get sick, like physically sick, and I hate when I do that. It feels awful. So I try to avoid doing that, but, you know, this year has been rough in that circumstance. And I always try to be pretty open and honest about my mental health stuff, but I still always feel weird saying anything about, like, because I even feel weird saying eating disorder, but I guess it kind of would fit into that. But I don't know, like, you know, people that never take binge eating disorder that seriously, because it's like, we'll just stop fatty, and it's like, there's a lot more to it. I can say that I really try to be proactive with my mental health, which is more than I can say for some people I see out there. And I'm aware of my issues, so I just need to put more energy and therapy towards that. Moving on to other aspects, I guess for 2021 I would like to try to practice more like of my tarot stuff that I have. Like I have a bunch of different decks and all that, and I don't know, I always kind of dabble with different ideas and like spiritual stuff. I'm a very weird person. Like I don't subscribe to any like specific religious belief. For me, religion's just like this man-made thing, and I think conceptually that anything is really above human understanding. That any religion is well, an idea of a god to me is a very oversimplified idea of, to me it's an energy. So I think it defies gender and all that. That's my personal feeling on that. And of course, to me, religion's always been about control. So I don't subscribe to that. I think there's just some trying to like find myself a little more in my own weird spiritual aspect this year. Like I've, after the DMT stuff and I've kind of been going through it and existential dread, I would like to find a place of comfort for myself mentally and spiritually. So I think that's what I was trying to get at there. It's just hard. Some of the stuff can be hard to talk about or like articulate. And I started with the tarot thing because I'd like to, I got some of those books like Tarot for Self-Care, and I'd like to like really try to use it more as a tool. I have a few friends who do that too, so I think it'd be something interesting to really work on. What I forgot from last year, I mentioned all my dental last year. Okay, so with COVID it kind of got a little bunked up, but I did finally get to the dentist, but it wasn't until like this last month. So I got my teeth cleaned. They had to take off literally like all this plaque and shit, and literally she was in there with that little scraper and that little electronic, I don't know, the little file thing or whatever they call it. I forget exactly what it is, but they were taking chunks of like this hard plaque buildup. When she was telling me like, they wash your mouth out, the little water thing, I was getting like chunks. I thought a tooth broke. That's how thick and big the chunks were. Sorry if that grosses anyone out, but I mean, straight up, like, they were getting all kinds of shit. Now I have another cleaning scheduled for next month in February, because they couldn't quite get everything because my gums were getting too sensitive. I do have cavities need to be filled. My wisdom teeth are all kind of getting cavities just because the way my mouth's set up, like everything's kind of back there. So I only have 3 wisdom teeth in. The other one's just kind of like never wanted to come out, so they're not worried about that one, but they do want me to get my other 3 pulled because they just don't see a point in filling cavities in those when they'll probably just get worse, which I agree. But so at some point this year I'll try to get that done, though that will cost a little more because you got to go to the oral surgeon, and I don't really know if my dental insurance, what they'll cover that. I know I get my cavities filled in next month, and to get the nitrous, I have to pay out of pocket for the nitrous. But honestly, this place I found is only like $45 for that, which I thought was cool. Because, like I said, I need a comfort dental place. This place is really awesome too. Honestly, like, I originally tried to schedule myself at another place, but then all the COVID stuff happened, like earlier this year, and they booted me off. I had an appointment that was set in April, and they canceled my appointment and told me they were going to put me on a wait list. I waited a while, and some of that was just my anxiety, because I still have a lot of anxiety around the dental stuff. And I finally was like, okay, they're never going to call me back, so I looked at a different place, and I end up where I'm at now, and the people there are really nice, and I told them my bad dental experience, and they're really cool, and they like checking with you, and you know, making sure you're okay, and that if something starts hurting, they'll, like my cleaning, I had to get numbing gel put on my gums a few times just because of how much stuff they had to get out of there. So I do appreciate that, and I still have some anxiety about getting my cavities filled, but it's scheduled. But with my insurance and everything, and the ketamine, I think my quote was like $160 to get, I think it's 2 or 3 cavities, I forget, which really isn't bad. No, I don't know how much it's gonna be to get my teeth pulled. That I'll have to look into later. I'm not in any rush for that one, just because I know, like, all the fun of trying to avoid dry socket and all that stuff. So, but I do want to try and take care of that this year. I just want to space things out a little bit. Maybe I'll do that in like April, May, something like that. I'm kind of a baby about any surgical stuff. Well, yeah. I've never, I know you get put under and all that. I don't know. Not so much fear about being put under. I've been put under a few times, you know. I had my knee surgery. I had my tonsils and adenoids taken out. I've had a leap done where they have to remove part of your cervix. Because I had like precancerous cells and all that. This was a few years ago. And I actually need to get a PAP soon. So, gotta take care of them womenly's healths to make sure I don't have anything else come up again. It is important to take care of that stuff. Let's say all my other ladies out there, you know, keep your shit in check. Wellness, sexual health and wellness, man. You know, having to get part of my service move sucked. It was not pleasant. But it was necessary. And hopefully I don't have any other issues come up again, because it's been like 3 years since that, something like that. And they said they still have to, keep a watch, because I'm still in a high likelihood it could happen again. So, I mean, I hope I can, avoid any, like, needing to get a hysterectomy or any of that crap, because I know my grandma, my dad's mom, basically, she got a hysterectomy when she was, like, in her 40s, something like that. So, I know sometimes these things can run in the family, so, there's part of me that, like, doesn't totally hate the idea. The only thing I don't like having surgery unnecessarily. I don't like anything that's gonna give me, like, a bunch of medical bills, and also then there's, like, having to take hormones and dealing with all that shit. The only reason I even, like, would be like, I won't have to worry about getting pregnant, because I never want kids. Like, truly do not want kids ever. So that was the only benefit I could find to that. But if I can avoid, you know, having my insides gutted open, I think I'd prefer that. You know, taking birth control for me, it really isn't that hard. So, let me think if there's anything else 2021 wise. Maybe trying some different content stuff for my YouTube. I've kind of dabbled with some other stuff, but also just working so much this last year. You know, if I'm working, it's really hard to do other stuff, so especially if I'm working, like some weeks I was working like, you know, 60 plus hours, so you know, once you start getting up there between work and sleep, you only have so many hours in a day, and I take care of most of the cleaning and everything, because my boyfriend's ADHD, like, he tries to help me, but that's still something he's trying to work on, but he's a messy boy, so I try to keep him mostly in check with his stuff. Like, he doesn't have a problem with me, like, bringing up, like, hey baby, can you please clean up after yourself when you do this? So, it's not like a huge issue. It can be a little annoying sometimes, but I'm a little, like, compulsive about the way I like certain things done, though, so that kind of contributes to me, like, being the main cleaner. I don't, like, as far as the state of the world and everything for 2021, I don't expect any dramatic shifts in anything, because, you know, COVID's still a thing. They don't really expect vaccines to be widely available till July, and, like, me personally, I'm not too worried about that for myself. Like, I don't mind waiting. I have a needle phobia anyway, so needles just give me horrible anxiety and make me feel nauseous, and I don't like getting shots, I don't like getting blood draws, I don't like any of that stuff. I'm not an anti-vax person, but I like to limit my contact with needles, so, and I don't, like, consider myself a super high-risk person. I don't work with the general public. I really haven't been doing much of anything outside of working, so, you know, running my errands and everything, but I wear my mask even if I'm not the biggest fan of it, because it does fuck with my anxiety, which is one of those things I've just been having to deal with this year, and finding masks that, like, don't cling too close to my face, and just trying to find ways to cope with that. I'll be happy when I don't have to freaking wear a mask out. It doesn't do any favors for my freaking, like, acne, or, like, I have, like, these little eczema patches that, like, everything, it just makes everything flare up, and not do well for the skincare routine at all. Like, I try to clean my, like, I clean my skin and, like, moisturize, and just having something, like, just rubbing on your face, it doesn't do anybody any favors. And I know I'm not the only one who's finding, like, that all the little whiteheads, blackheads, zits, and stuff in this general area. So, our skin needs to breathe, yo. I am trying to, like, work on having more of a skincare routine. I'm terrible at routines as far as that stuff is concerned. Just like when it comes to taking vitamins, they always say, oh, it takes 30 days to make a habit. Bitch, I forget something one day and I've completely derailed everything, and that's just my life, man. Like, Not for lack of effort or anything. It's just, you know, I get scatterbrained. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach things like that for myself. So yeah, 2021, I try to keep things practical, mostly just a lot of self-work. Try not to I try not to set like too heavy or lofty of a goal or anything. I make more general goals about just bettering myself, and I think that's the rat. I think that's the best way to approach things. Anyway, I hope your New Year's are lovely and are a lot better than 2020. Let's eat 2020 out with a sickness, bruh. No, fuck 2020. We're moving on, kiddos. Anyway, that's all my ramblings for this year in review. So you can subscribe if you want, because I post random shit.